Welcome to the Style Equalizer. I'm Janice Lawson. Before David shows you how it works, let me explain why we built it. AI as a writing tool is inevitable. It's everywhere: schools, marketing, emails. But what about AI for authors? Here's what we learned. Most writers don't want to write like Hemingway, Virginia Woolf, or James Baldwin. They just want to get their story out. And too many give up, not because they lack talent, but because life gets in the way. The job, the kids, the bills. Eventually, the manuscript gets thrown in a shoebox and set in a closet. We built this for them. Now, a lot of writers shun AI because it feels like cheating. But let me ask you, what makes a story yours? Is it typing every word yourself? Or is it the vision, the characters, the meaning, the emotional truth? Directors don't operate cameras. Songwriters don't play every instrument. Yet the vision is still theirs. Your story is your story. We're just a tool that helps you tell it. Here's the problem every writer notices: AI always sounds like AI. Why? Simple. AI doesn't understand genre. It doesn't know what makes horror feel like horror, what makes romance heat up, what separates a thriller from literary fiction. It just writes, and everything sounds the same. So we went back to the source. We studied decades of published work, every genre, every style, every tone. We broke down the patterns, the pacing, the atmosphere, how emotion shows versus hides, the vocabulary, the rhythm. Then we built something no one else has: a platform that transforms your writing into any genre while keeping your voice 100% intact. What does that mean? Your voice. Your voice is your fingerprint on the page, the words you choose, your rhythm, your attitude, what you notice, what you leave out. When ChatGPT rewrites you, it erases all of that. Your words become its words. Everyone sounds like ChatGPT. We do the opposite. We transform the genre, the atmosphere, the intensity, the pacing, but your voice stays. 100% voice clarity means if your best friend read it, they'd still know you wrote it. This is patent pending technology. No one else can do what I'm about to show you. Same paragraph, same prompt. ChatGPT versus Style Equalizer. Watch what happens.
Thank you, Janice. And we're going to jump right into this. We're at the ChatGPT website. We're using the free version, and we only need the free version for this one test of this paragraph right here. And we're asking ChatGPT to write this paragraph in a psychological thriller style and make it more atmospheric and tense. It's not a big prompt, but it's a prompt that, if you're writing for a specific genre, a lot of writers, even myself when I first started, I utilized this because I wanted to keep my words within the genre. I didn't want to have a piece that sounded like romance, a piece that sounded like thriller, a piece that sounded like horror. It makes for a difficult reading experience for the reader. So we put this paragraph in, we hit the prompt, and this is what it came up with here. So now we're going to move to the style equalizer. The style equalizer, we put the same paragraph in. The only difference is, as Janice was saying, we have presets that have been developed over a few years, studying every genre, every element of that genre. And in the end, we came up with the 76 presets. And we're using psychological horror for this example, for this test. And so when I hit psychological horror, here's the same paragraph we gave GPT. The only difference is we have this equalizer, which is exactly like a music equalizer. The only difference is we're not using bass or any other elements. We're using character focus, emotional intensity, show tell, rhythm, atmospheric description, and vocabulary. And these are all set based on the study we talked about earlier. The few years of really just grinding and understanding each genre. So this is what it came up with for thriller. We hit it in the user input. Now here you can type. Once it's here, it's locked in. I mean, you can clear the output or you can turn and use this and it will replace what's in here. If you don't like it, you undo it. And we'll get into, again, other elements, but you can even isolate sentences. It's pretty cool. So we processed the text. This is what it came up with. And now let us look at exactly what happened. So again, this is the same paragraph. And we put them side by side so we could highlight the words that were included and how they were included. And as you see, this is GPT and this is the style equalizer. So what happened? As typical with most AI, even though you might ask it to write horror, it's set for literary fiction. It typically will use That purple prose you'll find in romances from many many years ago, but it'll be talking about horror elements, and a lot of times that's just awkward for writers, especially if you're trying to find your genre on an Amazon or whatever. You want to try to find a genre that fits you perfect. So in this case, it overwrote simple moments with poetry, whereas the style equalizer just kept it controlled metaphors and stayed grounded. A silent testament to broken promises. That's it. We want to get crazy with it. It explains his eternal state. Again, as you put into certain GPT or other AIs, it writes what it thinks you want. Whereas the style equalizer knows how to write in that genre, so it doesn't deliberately add that purple prose or start to add elements that you didn't have in there. And so we just show through action and observation, sensing the potential chaos. Said the same thing multiple ways. Anybody who's an author or writer and used any kind of AI knows that it tends to do this. It will just, again, it's trying to fluff up the paragraph, fluff up the chapter in a way that will satisfy you because it's programmed into it. Here we just want to trust the reader and move on. 7 years distilled into figures and fractions. It has that poetry, but it's very grounded in psychological thriller. It inserted generic wisdom Marcus wouldn't think, promises he learned, were just thoughts that hadn't met pressure yet. Again, it's creative, but is that your voice? No, that's their voice, clearly. What we do is try to take your voice and dress the genre around it so that it stays you. And so, choices he swore never to repeat. Very simple, no life lessons. The control expanded beyond original density, added dramatic beats that weren't there. One paragraph, matched the original paragraph structure is what we did. Again, you see a lot of GPT, you see a lot of AI that decide they want to add characters. Now you have to go back in and remove those characters, or you might like those characters, and then you try to fully develop it, and then it's making new characters. So you got to pick your poison when it comes to stuff like that. The AI fingerprint, precise, unravel, close in. If you give a paragraph to an AI and then the paragraph is gone and you give the second paragraph, it doesn't know the first paragraph. And what tends to happen is uses the same words. One of the things that I hated about the other platforms is the word enveloped came into any rewrite that I was attempting to do. Enveloped, enveloped, enveloped. And so you would do a paragraph and then you would have that done. You have it to the side, the word enveloped. You give it a new paragraph as using the word enveloped again. Or you might even give it more than that. You might give it 500 words, 400 words, and you use the word enveloped, 4 times. And to me, that right there is something that I was not happy with. And so this was developed with an anti-redundancy structure in it. And you'll see when you put your paragraphs in there and you start going through each one, it deliberately will not use the same word. So in the end, this is what we're looking at. GPT, even that small paragraph, replaced the writer's voice, where we simply amplified it, like an equalizer, but with words. So thank you for tuning in for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we'll start really getting into what this platform can do and the many innovations that certainly make it unlike anything that's out there. Thanks for tuning in.